Unity of the Huachucas presents Susan Smith, LUT.
The comfort of divine love.
Wow, it's so exciting to be here with you in your new space. It's beautiful, and you know what makes it most beautiful, right? That's what we bring. We bring everything with us to this space. So grateful to be here with you, and thank you for that song. When I used to serve Unity of Peace in Tucson before we dissolved, and whenever I would fill in for Reverend Nita, that was one of my songs. I got to pick my own music. That was it. Because it got me relaxed. And look at my dress. It like fits the song, right? Like, wow, I didn't even know. I'm like, wow, I just dressed appropriately. So, and it really fits in with what I'm talking today. So, always wonderful job with the music. Thank you for that. So today we're talking about being comforted, and especially about the grieving, right? Grieving losses of loved ones. And I'm going to expand that idea of grief to all the things we might be grieving, right? Because when we lose someone, we also have, you might be grieving your previous space and, kind of just all the memories that were there and take them with you. But there's some grief involved in that, right? Any kind of change, relationships change, our status in the world changes. We change. We look at ourselves in the mirror and like, how is that sometimes, right? There's a lot of grieving in many ways. So I just want to expand this idea. I will be talking about grieving loved ones, but you can hold this in any capacity. And I think when we grieve one thing, it often compounds the other griefs, right? When one thing comes up, then something else comes up. And so it's complicated and intertwined, and we're just wonderful human beings, and it's complicated. So in 1989, I was 27 years old when I really experienced my first real grieving experience as an adult, someone very close to me. And my father had a critical illness. Within 6 months, he died after his diagnosis. And the grieving was really hard. And I believe it was because in my family, we were positive people, and it was great. I love being raised by positive people, but we took it too far sometimes. When my dad got diagnosed with this condition, we all knew he was very sick, and if he didn't get diagnosed, it wasn't good. But I remember coming home, he had gotten his test results, we're all sitting at the kitchen table. I go, well, what were the results? He's like, oh, it's not good. Terminal diagnosis, whatever. And I remember getting up from the table and going into the bathroom and crying. And then we just went on with our meal. That was kind of the time, right? That was the time. We were all doing the best we can. I hold no ill regard to any of us. But then my dad died in December of that year. And wow, it hit me hard. And what hit me was that I hadn't said some of the stuff I should have said. And I know he knew I loved him. I was there with him. I supported him. I supported my mom. I don't regret what I did. I regret what I didn't do. You know what I mean? And it was hard. It took me many years. For a good year, and I'm not a crier. I'm very stoic about many things, but I cried about every year after he died. And it was just this weight of guilt, probably a little bit of anger at myself and others. And I think that was the part, not the sadness of losing him, that was just a natural human reaction of missing someone who was so deeply important to me, who formed who I was, and who truly was one of the best people in the world. I also, when he was sick, and this time, so I was unchurched. Our whole thing was, golden rule, okay? So this time I'm going with the golden rule thing. And people would say, when he was sick, they say, we're praying for your dad. And I can be honest with you, back then, I'm just like, what the heck? Do you have some sort of lying to the big guy that, my dad was such a good person. So I kind of resented it, to be honest with you. I mean, it's okay. But then I had a shift. And I would say the shift was about divine love. And I'm going to share a little bit about that experience. And I can talk about my dad today. And I really can say I let go and I released a lot of that guilt, that shame. And I'm going to share that because that was divine love. That's how it happened. And it can happen anytime, anywhere. We're on a spectrum here all the time, and that's shifting and changing and moving. So this morning I want to talk a little bit, what is divine love? When we need divine love comforts. Secondly, I'm going to talk a little bit about a tool we can use. It's denials, relaxing, letting go, and then affirming. But mostly I want to talk about denials because that one's a little more confusing for people, okay? So denials and then affirmations. And then we'll go through a little period of meditation. So what do we mean when we say divine love? I tell you, this was kind of a tricky one to really pin down. It's kind of tricky to say, like, what is divine love? What do we mean? And so I'm going to use my notes because I have way too many notes, but don't worry. So divine love, first of all, is not an emotion. All right? Human beings, we're emotional. We're supposed to be emotional. That's part of the human experience. And when emotions rise in our consciousness and our awareness, it's telling us something is happening in our consciousness, in our human experience. And I'm grateful that when I think about my dad and him dying when I was 27 years old, I could still be very sad about that. And I could still be a little angry because really, he could have really helped me out. Like, we needed him still. The world needed this man. But that's just my human self, right? That's okay. It's okay to have those feelings and those thoughts. That's just being human. That's part of the human. And it makes me more compassionate for others walking the path. It makes me more empathetic. And it certainly made me, I learned a lesson, and I've changed completely when I dealt with the sacred process in the future. So that's what I learned from it. But that's not what divine love is, not those emotions. Emotions are just telling us that. Divine love is principle. It's principle. You can stand on it. It's there for you, whether you know it or not. It's neutral. You don't need to do anything to earn it. It is your birthright. It is you in expression. It is within all things. That is divine love. It's the harmonizing factor. This is what is said in the Revealing World. And that is our metaphysical dictionary of certain terms that Charles Fillmore put together for us, co-founder. Divine love is impersonal. It loves for the sake of loving. It just wants to love you. It is not concerned with what or who it loves, nor with return of love. This is not a transactional thing. Nothing about it. Like the sun, its joy is in the shining forth of its nature. It's shining forth as us, in us, through us, around us, everywhere. In divine mind, love is the power that joins and binds in divine harmony the universe and everything in it, the great harmonizing principle known to man. How can we be anything but comforted knowing the harmonizing force of the universe? So I wanted to bring it down to kind of like the three omnis. So the three omnis are basically how we describe God, right? God, divine love is a principle of God. So God is love. And God is three things. There's three things. There's the three omnis: omnipresence, omnipowerful, and omnipotence. And then omniscience. It doesn't matter. I'm getting in the weeds here with my language. So first of all, we can get comforted when we remember God is divine love. I am divine love. God is all power. Have you ever felt a grieving moment where you feel helpless? What do we feel when we grieve? I cannot help this person. I cannot change this. I do not have a time machine, and I cannot go back and say the things to my dad I wanted to say. I cannot help my family figure out a better way forward. I cannot ease that passing in a way which I think would have eased the grieving. I can't do it. But divine love is all powerful. And you know what I can do? I can let go and know that God knows. There's a Daniel Nahant song, I don't need to know when the pain ends. God knows. Those words have come to me sitting in a hospital bench when I did not know what to do when I found out my sister was terminally ill. I did not know what to do. And I couldn't help her. And I couldn't change the situation. But God knows. There's a comfort in that. You can just let it go and be wrapped in that comfort. You don't need to know it all. Our humanness want to figure things out. We want to understand why and how. What can I do? Sometimes we just have to let go. We are not powerless. We are all powerful. Anything is possible within that. And how do I know that? Because I know that the presence of God is powerful as well. Divine love is ever present. It's present everywhere. We cannot lose it. When my Reverend Nita, when I found out that she had passed, I found out during the day when I was at work, and that night, I was at home putting away Christmas decorations, and I was thinking about her. Now, if you know my history at all, for some reason, I've just had a lot of loss at Christmas. All 4 of my family members died in December. 3 of them between the 22nd and January 1st. It's a lot. Just for some reason, this just seems to be the thing. I'm not worried about this pattern. God knows, right? But I just thought, I was putting the Christmas decorations. It was the week after January 1st. I'm just like, why didn't I do this before I went back to work? I was really kind of angry at myself. I was kind of angry at the situation, angry at these decorations. And I'm putting it down. I had bought this like disco ball. You know, they have all the little mirrors on it. And it was cool because the light would come in my window in my living room, and it would reflect in the room. And I thought, oh, wow, that's so cool. I didn't even think I would do that. Like, oh. So I enjoyed this throughout the holidays. The night I'm taking these decorations down, I'm thinking about Reverend Nita. A little angry, frankly, about the whole thing. But very, very grateful at the same time. My heart is filled with love, and knowing that I believe we're divine and we're timeless beings, and I'm thinking about that as well. And just grateful she's not suffering, and she didn't have to suffer long. She went through a very short period of illness. It was very short, and I was grateful for that, really. And I was grateful I knew her family had each other's backs, and I knew she knew that. So I had a lot of gratitude, a lot of love in my heart that was harmony with. But some anger and some frustration, especially with the Christmas decorations. So this is what happens. That sunset comes at a certain time. The light comes in the window. The light reflects off of this disco ball in a way I'd never seen. There was little things of light all over my living room, much more than I'd ever seen. I think somebody was trying to tell me something, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I believe. So God is omnipresent. Divine love is omnipresent. We are divine beings. We are here forever. We're not, that part of us, that divine timelessness of us, can never be parted from those we love. Doesn't mean we don't mourn them. Makes me sad I can't talk to Reverend Nita anymore. Makes me sad not to share her life anymore and see what she was doing next. That's a real human thing. But I can let go of this idea that we are separated. And that comforts me. That's divine love comforting me. Seeing those lights was a divine love comforting me. Because I got to decide what that meant, right? It was up to me. Someone else could see those lights, someone else could see whatever. No, for me, that's what that meant. Now, when my sister Karen passed away, about 15 years after my dad, I had a different experience of grieving and going through this with her, which I was really grateful. And but it was very hard. She was 48 at the time. But I really stood with her. My grieving was different. And I remember after the memorial, and I was with my mom. Of course, it was very difficult for my mom, losing a child. It's hard, whatever age. And we got out. We were going to play cards. That's what we did. We played cards. And we always got this little felt. It wasn't felt. I don't know. It was some fabric cover that we put over the table when we played cards. So I went in the drawer where the fabric cover was. We did this all the time when I visited. I lived in it. But we played cards regularly, whenever I was there, weekly, and monthly, a lot. I go in that drawer, and I get the cover. I get this cover out, and I find something that did not belong there. My mom was not a sentimental woman. Only time I ever saw her cry was in movies, by the way. And this was a book my dad had filled out. In this miscellaneous drawer, it did not belong there. What the heck was this doing in there? This was something from my dad. And not only was it from my dad that was filled out, he had written all our initials on the bottom. And I remember when we did this, we took a trip, and we were on a plane, and we all helped him. So it has my initials, SJS, KLS, SLS, JMS, FGS, and then I don't know what that last thing is. 8C, I don't know what that means. Maybe that was a date or something. Anyway, so it was like, oh, and I think it was like, it's okay, Karen's with me. I got her a little bit more now. That's what it said to me. You get to decide. I don't know what happens when we go, but that timelessness, that speaks to me. I cannot tell you exactly what happens, but can we lose people we love? No. So this is something, so I believe in that presence. Now, I told you that I had an experience of really, really feeling comforted about my situation with my dad, that guilt and the anger I hear. And this comes to the third omni, omniscience. Thank you. I should never know the omnis. It's okay. You'll live and learn. And that is that God is all-knowing, all knowledge. And so divine love is all-knowing. We are all-knowing. That means we know the next steps to take always. We always know what's next for us. So I used to, during the pandemic, that was a time I needed some comforting. I don't know about you all. I used to do this reading, and it was about divine love heals. I'm going to only read part of it because it really speaks to this next piece and all of this that I want to share. This is written by Claudia Whitaker. It's a book called Courage, Conviction, and Consciousness. It's a bunch of readings, writings from women and new thought through the ages. It's a wonderful book. And she says, God is love, and love is infinite healing. The next part is about healing. I'm not going to share that. It's very beneficial at the time. This next part. The warmth of divine love permeates my affairs, melting away all obstructions to the perfect circulation of God's good. The creative power of God is now flowing freely in my life, healing me of lack and frustration. Divine love heals me of fear, anxiety, confusion, and doubt. It makes my faith strong and wavering. My love, just feel that comforting of that. And that comes to power, presence, right? Then here, God is light, and in him is no darkness. So that's what we're talking about, that all power. God is light, and in him is no darkness. We can feel darkness in our human experience. Yes, definitely. When people hurt each other intentionally because they're so lost, that is a dark, dark thing to deal with as a human. But God is light. That light is there. We can always see it. And we might be the ones shining it. We might be the ones observing it. But it is there. And then it says, therefore, I trust the light of pure love to guide me safely, serenely, and steadily. I trust the light of pure love to guide me safely, serenely, steadily. Serenity is what we're looking for when we want comfort, right? I don't know about you, but I do not function well when I'm full of anxiety. And I am a person who is somewhat prone to some anxiety. I think because of my privileged life, I've managed it. I really believe it's my privilege that's allowed me to manage as well as I have. And then learning the tools I've learned here. Between those two ways, I functioned very well. I think if my life had been more traumatized, I would have had a very different life path. I really do. And I think this would have come up much more for me. But I can relate to it in the sense that I can feel it in my body. There's just something funky going on here. But remembering divine love, I'm comforted. I trust the light of pure love to guide me safely, serenely, steadily. I do not need to see the way ahead, for God knows it. God is my security. That just speaks to me of divine love. Of the two, God is all powerful. God is all presence. God is all wisdom. And what that means for us is when we are comforted in this, is we don't need to know the whole road ahead. We don't need to know the outcome. We don't need to know how we're going to deal with it. And when we're talking about grieving, feeling or not feeling, right? Sometimes we're just numb to it. Like, why don't I feel? That can be also very disconcerting. I have to say, with Reverend Nita's situation, I think I'm still kind of in the numb spell. I think that's still there because I didn't see her all the time. And it takes kind of me connecting with people who connected with her to really feel that. And I think that's going to take a little longer to really deal with. But that's okay. This is our human path. We don't need to figure it out. I don't need to know what the next step is. The next step might be call that friend. Like it said, who can comfort you? And when somebody offers prayer, now I say thank you. And I always thank people when they prayed for my dad. I never, but in my mind, I'm just like, really? Now I just say thank you because I know that's divine love. That is through them and how their language works. And I appreciate it and thank you because in the end, it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. It's remembering our oneness, remembering our divinity, remembering the fact that we are divine and can never be separated from that which we love. And we can be comforted along the way, in which sometimes the path feels fraught with challenges, because sometimes it is. So wisdom, we know what's next. Sometimes it's a breath. Sometimes it's a phone call. Sometimes it's just remembering. So remember to go back, find a place. There's chapels all over churches. Churches have chapels. They have chaplains. There's a reason. There's a reason for that. So my story with my dad is that many years later, I was having my own little crisis of faith and just knowing who I was. And I took a training with Fearless Living. I started getting Fearless Living. That's what led me to Unity. Let me hear. I used to be terrified of speaking. So at this training with Rhonda Britton, she had us write a letter. And it was a forgiveness letter. And in this forgiveness letter, were to pour out our hearts, heartfelt. This was an act of release, a letting go. And I just sat down and I just cried my eyes out. Don't cry well. So this was quite something for me. I cried my little eyes out and I just said everything I meant to say. Thank you for being the kind of dad I never had to call and say, can you help me? I would just call, this is going on, Dad. And he'd say, okay, I'm coming. Not everybody gets that, guys. Not everybody gets that. If everybody had my dad as a father, and I know a lot of you have your own precious fathers, but the world, if they'd operated the way my dad did, the world would be pretty great. And he never spoke ill of anyone. Never. I was 27 when he died. I just wish I knew more about his life. And that's okay. That's the human regret. But I poured it out. I'm sorry I didn't say these things to you. I love you so much. Thank you for everything. I forgive myself. You forgive me. Okay, I wrote this letter. We got to stand in front of the room, say what we forgave, sat down. I felt a million pounds lighter. I practiced the denial. That's a denial, letting go of those feelings. Forgiveness is a way of releasing, letting go, relaxing, surrendering. I can't change. I don't have a time machine. I can't go back. I felt so much better. I knew I had released something. I knew this was a spiritual practice. I knew I'd done something. So I got home the next day. I go to the grocery store. I've shared this story before, but it bears repeating. I go to the grocery store. And in the store, first of all, they play the song, now I lay me down. This I pray that you will hold me dear. Sadie Hopkins wrote that for her father. I always loved that song. Then I heard this was a song she wrote for her father. Maybe Dad heard me, Then they play the roast, which they played at the workshop I was at. I'm like, oh wow, that's cool. I get up to the checkout line. There's a man, and he's handing out flowers, the bagger. Have you ever seen this? Because I haven't. He's giving out free flowers, roses. So I see them. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I go through. I'm having this great experience. I'm feeling great. And then this man hands me a flower. He's like, oh, we have extra flowers today. And so we're handing them out. I look at his name tag. His name was Fred. He had my dad's name. So, yeah, we can be comforted. We can ask. But the reason is because I knew. It took many years for me to get to that place. But I knew what to do. So you can always go. You can have that relationship. You can clean your heart. You can be comforted. And the tool I want to share with you is just really letting go. That's what I did. That was a release. I believe we can still have a relationship with people in the past. When I come up, when I do anything, this little necklace represents my family. I don't really have time to explain why, but it does. When I hold it like this is my mom, my two sisters, I hold it because my dad loved all of us. And I just think about them. And I think they think about me, and I think they can do whatever they need to do. And if all things are possible, why not? We get to have the power. When I came down to here today, I kept just arguing with my GPS because they wanted the power. But, I took it back. She just did the weirdest thing. I was on this road that you're on, and they wanted me up to another road. I'm like, no, this is the road they're on. No, I'm not doing that. I'm getting out of Tucson. I'm like, no, Cole goes where I want. They wanted me to turn off Cole onto Valencia to go to I-10. No. But we get to assert our power just like that. You get to take back your power. But it's divine love. Be kind and gentle. What is comfort to you? What do you need? And then ask for it. And you can start by just simply doing what we call denials. And we're not talking about psychological denial. My family and I think We're pretty good at that with our toxic positivity. Sometimes you need it. Princess Leia needed some toxic positivity because Alderaan, her whole family and planet, look, we don't have time for our sorrows. Okay, hopefully she went to some therapy and got help at some point, or maybe did some prayer work, whatever. Because honestly, that was some toxic positivity, really. Let's face it. But she needed some psychological denial to save the galaxy. So that's not what we're talking about. When we're talking about denial, and I will just read this one quote. It's spiritual denial, also called release or renunciation, is the disidentification with, repudiation of, and elimination of thoughts and beliefs that we realize are contrary to spiritual truth. It's a lot of words. It's not that we deny the facts. We don't deny our feelings. We just deny that stuff we're carrying. I'm going to deny my resentment. I'm going to deny my guilt. I'm going to deny my shame. I'm going to deny my anger because they're not helpful. I can't go back. I'm going to deny my powerlessness over this situation because there's no way I can go back and have that conversation. So we let go and then we affirm. And affirmation is not making something true. Affirmation is simply stating the truth from a point of faith. So it's not making something true, it's remembering the truth. So anytime you do a denial or enunciation or release or a negation, whatever you want to call it, fill it up with the truth. And it could be simply, I let go, God is. Let go and know God. Let go. You can make it super simple. So that's what I encourage all of you to do. You can become comfort in divine love. Divine love, just like God, is all presence. It's all power. And it's also all knowing. It is within you. It surrounds you. It is ever accessible. And it is the comfort of which each of us can give, share, know in order to go forth and shine our light. Thank you. I do have a little meditation. I'll do the meditation. Should I do the meditation? Is there time? Sorry, I found that long. I have a lot to say about this. I've had a lot of experience. Okay, we'll do a short meditation. Okay. So go ahead. I encourage you to comfort yourself. Just make yourself comfortable. Close your eyes. And just let go and know God. Let go and know that God is all power, and there's not a spot where God is not. Let go and know that although the pain feels overwhelming, it is not all-consuming, and God knows when the pain ends. Let go and know the light of divine love surrounds you and your loved ones, always and forever. Always and forever. Let go and know that you and they are safe, secure, and loved beyond measure. There is no measurement of love. It is exponential. There's nothing you need to do to deserve it. It is. You are. Let go and know that you don't need to know what will happen next or why things have happened to you. It's not for you to worry about. Let go and know that the unconditional, timeless, enduring divine love is who you are, and it surrounds you always. God is. God is love. I am God. I am love. And so it is. Amen. Thank you.